In the depths of our minds, a constant stream of thoughts flows ceaselessly, shaping our perception of reality and influencing our emotions. However, it is crucial to recognize that these thoughts are not a direct reflection of who we are as individuals. In fact, we are not thinking our thoughts. We are merely observers of them. By embracing this profound realization, we can free ourselves from the grip of worrisome, anxious, and depressing thoughts, ultimately leading to a state of liberation, peace, and clarity. The illusion of thought control. The human mind is a remarkable tool, capable of generating an array of thoughts and ideas. Yet, we often fall into the illusion that we have complete control over our thoughts. We believe we are the originators of our thoughts, the masters of our mental realm. However, this assumption proves to be misleading. Consider the experience of watching a captivating video. In that moment, it may feel as though you are the conscious observer, but there is no true doer behind it. The mind, just a thought, holds the key. If we had full control over our thoughts, we could effortlessly cease overthinking, anxiety, and suffering. However, this is not the case. Thoughts arise independently, and our attempt to control them often leads to further distress. The ego's quest for identity. Within the intricate web of our thoughts lies the ego, a clever function that operates thoughts and emotions. The ego often presents itself as positive thoughts or the knowledge we have acquired, fostering a sense of identity. It weaves a narrative, creating the illusion of a separate and distinct self. Yet, upon closer examination, we realize that the ego is just another thought. It is an intricate fabrication of the mind, a construct that perpetuates the belief in a fixed and limited self. By understanding this, we can begin to unravel the grip of the ego and transcend its limitations. Consciousness beyond separation. The belief in separation is a powerful filter through which some thoughts arise. However, it is essential to acknowledge that consciousness itself gives rise to thoughts beyond the constraints of separation. All emotions ultimately stem from love, but when viewed through the lens of separation, love can transform into hatred. This distortion occurs because the illusion of separation clouds and distorts our perception of love. Consciousness possesses the freedom to express itself in any form it chooses. However, when it becomes localized within the finite mind, it loses touch with its true nature and accepts its senses and perceptions as reality. This process of localization hinders us from experiencing the vastness of consciousness and limits our understanding of our thoughts as transient phenomena. The mind's dominance and liberation. The human mind is a valuable tool for specific tasks, but when left unchecked, it can engage in repetitive negative thinking that drains our energy. This compulsive thinking often resembles an addictive behavior, momentarily gratifying but ultimately leading to pain and suffering. We frequently identify ourselves with our minds, constructing a false sense of self based on past experiences and future worries. The ego-driven mind is fixated on survival and fulfillment, distorting our perception of the present through the lens of the past. To find true liberation, we must detach from the mind's dominance and recognize its excessive control as a threat to our existence. Beyond thinking, transcending the mind. Thinking and consciousness are distinct entities, intricately intertwined. Thinking relies on consciousness, but consciousness can exist without thinking. Enlightened individuals transcend the realm of incessant thinking, rising above it, rather than descending to a state below thoughts. In an enlightened state, the thinking mind is used more focused and efficiently. The inner dialogue becomes voluntary, and a sense of inner stillness prevails. True creativity emerges from a delicate balance between thought and consciousness without thought. It is important to acknowledge that thought alone, disconnected from consciousness, becomes unproductive and even harmful. However, when the mind reconnects with the intelligence within the body, it becomes a useful tool serving something greater than itself. This integration allows for a harmonious expression of thoughts and actions, guided by a deeper wisdom. In our daily lives, we often grant power to every thought that arises, mistaking them for an inherent part of our being. However, we are not the thoughts themselves. We are the awareness that observes those thoughts. Through self-inquiry and introspection, we can begin to realize that the separate self, which we often identify with, is nothing more than a story, a mental construct lacking inherent reality. By calmly observing our thoughts without attempting to control or suppress them, we gain insight into their transient nature. Thoughts pass through our awareness like clouds drifting across the sky. We possess the power to choose whether to engage with these passing thoughts or let them go. This understanding liberates us from the constraints of our thoughts and actions, offering a path towards true freedom. Living in a constant state of awareness, devoid of attachment or judgment, brings forth a deeper sense of peace, clarity, and satisfaction in life. By recognizing that the feeling of being in control is merely an illusion, we can release ourselves from the limitations imposed by our minds and fully embrace the present moment. Consider a scenario where you find yourself caught in a spiral of worry and anxiety about an upcoming presentation. Your mind bombards you with thoughts of self-doubt, fear of failure, and what-ifs. In that moment, remind yourself that you are not the thinker of these thoughts. You are the aware presence behind them. Recognize that these thoughts are not a true reflection of your capabilities or worth. Instead of resisting or trying to control these thoughts, simply observe them with non-judgmental awareness. Allow them to pass through your consciousness like passing clouds without attaching undue significance to them. By doing so, you create space for a more empowering and peaceful perspective to emerge. Similarly, consider a situation where you find yourself entangled in memories of past mistakes or regrets. Your mind replays these events, fueling feelings of guilt, shame, or resentment. Once again, remind yourself that you are not defined by these thoughts. They do not define your present reality or determine your future. Instead of getting caught up in the repetitive loop of negative thinking, shift your focus to the present moment. Cultivate self-compassion and forgiveness, recognizing that growth and transformation are always possible. By detaching from the dominance of the mind, you can break free from the shackles of the past and embrace the possibilities of the present. Conclusion. The understanding that you are not thinking your thoughts is a profound realization that leads to liberation from the grip of worrisome, anxious, and depressing thoughts. By recognizing that thoughts do not define you and understanding the illusory nature of the ego, you can begin to transcend the limitations imposed by the mind. Embracing a constant state of awareness free from attachment and judgment allows for a deeper sense of peace, clarity, and fulfillment in life. Remember, you are not the thinker of your thoughts. You are the observer behind them. Through self-inquiry and mindfulness, you can cultivate a greater understanding of the transient nature of thoughts and gain freedom from their constraints. Embrace the present moment, where true liberation resides, and tap into the infinite potential of consciousness beyond the realm of thinking.